Hello and welcome back to the Single Malt Review. Gosh, it feels like ages since we were able to sit down together and do this once again. I think it was all but Christmas since we were last in this room, but never mind. We are back to it, back to the mischief, with another mini from Dave, and this one's quite special. What have you brought?
It is. Well, we missed Burns Day somewhat, but what we have here is one of the commemorative Robbie Burns Isle of Arran whiskies. Arran is the closest distillery to Burns' birthplace, and they produce 2 whiskies in his honour in coordination with the authority who effectively regulates the great poet's legacy. They have a blend and also a single malt. We have here the single malt. This is a predominantly bourbon cask with some sherry cask. Whiskey involved. It has no age statement, and it is at its natural colour.
Well, see how we go. We've never had an Arran we've been disappointed by, so this one should be a goer.
43% ABV, so possibly unfiltered. We're not sure. Does not say on the label or in the other literature.
No, I was lucky enough to go along to Whisky Galore's Burns night and tasting, which was very good. The whole presenting the haggis and the whole lot, the whole bit. It's quite the show.
Yeah.
When done properly. So
this is, as single malts go, this is extremely affordable. The price on this one is very generous. I suppose it's designed to appeal to a mass audience, people who would want to honour the great man without necessarily being whiskey connoisseurs.
Whiskey of the people, just like the man. So, oh dear, that's really punchy. This is an extremely hot day down here in the southern hemisphere, as you're all shivering away over there in the northern hemisphere. Especially if you're in North America, it sounds like they're having a hell of a go of it this time around. And it's really still only early winter, but hope everyone's doing okay over there. But we're doing fine, just a little bit steamy down here, so we'll have to keep it fresh. So this is very youthful, but I think it's
a fair amount of young whiskey in there.
I think it's youthful in quite a good way. It's really, really perky, is how I describe this one.
That natural colour is quite pale. They compare it to Ayrshire Sunshine on the label, which is, I guess,
sure enough.
I can see that.
Yeah, I really. It's almost. This is one that I'm glad maybe isn't 46%, because this is really peppy on the nose.
It's got a bit of prickle, but also some lively fruit, a bit of pineapple and maybe some mango or guava peeking through.
And I'm pretty sure I'm getting not too few sherry notes on this one as well. I think the sherry might be quite expressive on there, and I think you can just about, though the colour is fairly mild, it's got a tint to it. There's a darker quality to it, which I wouldn't expect from something that didn't have a fair whack of sherry in there. So I think we may find this is more sherry than not as we go further in.
It is majority bourbon, but then again, depending how active those sherry casks were, they could be dominating the flavour despite being a minority of the casks. So let's find out.
Yeah.
Ooh, that is quite hot up front. It is quickly giving way to a lot of characteristic Arran character, but there's a lot of sherry there.
There it is. It's that fruity custard, and it's still there.
Yes. The bourbon cask is there, but it is so well tempered by those sherry influences. That is a really nice melding, really. It is
Actually, that's one of the most sort of guessable, the most typical Arrans I think we've had in a wee while. Because it was that nice sort of not single barrel, but barrel strength, the cask strength one you brought over, and that was 100% bourbon.
All bourbon, some of them quarter casks. Yeah.
And 9 years old?
That's it.
9 years old, got it, yeah. That one, despite all those things, I thought it was the one thing it was lacking was that really stupendously pickable, fruity custard Arran character, that slightly oily quality. But this one, suddenly there it is all over it.
I suppose if they want to market this not necessarily to whiskey drinkers, then it's a perfect chance to encapsulate the characteristic Arran flavour as well.
And still real sharp and perky. I can a wee bit of water on that one.
Yeah, this is perfect without water, but it stands to reason should add little just to get the full flavour in case it makes it even better.
Yeah, there's quite a fire on that one.
Yeah.
Although first whiskey of the day, it always hits a little harder when you haven't tuned the buds in yet, but that's just the cross this one will have to bear. We have to start with something.
Oh, okay, that's made a world of difference. That's gone extremely sweet. I'm getting sherbet and fruit pie and all kinds of nonsense.
Yeah, that's gone super duper fruity. That's taken it all the way back to its extremely Speyside-y sort of a spiritual home where Arran, famously despite being an island distillery and much closer to Campbellton than Speyside, that's really where it lives in terms of its the style of the whiskey it produces, and that
is lovely.
Really on display. It's really good. It's not massively sort of complex. Once you realise what it's doing, once you realise the tune it's playing, it's one you've heard before because it's very, very Speyside style, light-bodied, not too heavy, not too light, very, very fruity. The custardy sort of, you lose that as you lose a lot of the oily characteristics with the water, but you can just as easily not and hang on to that one. I think that's probably how I'd go on this one. It doesn't really budge it's almost a pepperiness on there. There's a real snap and a real catch.
Yeah,
the spirit.
I guess I suppose fairly young spirit which is in there is contributing a lot of heat, a bit of spice.
People say you get a chili pepper catch in Talisker, which I more or less agree with. It's been a while since I had a Talisker, but there's a real sort of black, almost white pepper sort of thing going on in here, and it's a real back of the throat kind of sensation.
There was some fairly impressive oily streaks on the glass, and that's leaving a lot behind. So possibly not filtered, chill filtered.
Well, I think it just looks pretty transparent with that addition of water, which is how I normally check it. I don't know if you get away with a 43% of unchill filtered, but I've been wrong before. We'll see.
Yeah, I've been especially wrong when it comes to filtered versus unfiltered.
Yeah,
so
it's a thin.
Either way, that is a very tasty dram, and if you're going to produce a whiskey essentially to market a person or a day or an event, that could lower one's expectations. You go in thinking it's going to be something designed for the mass market, kind of quick and dirty, but no, they've given this one the care and attention to craft.
No All Blacks flavoured sports drink here. No, really good. That's a perfectly sound 86 for me. That's for what you implied was a fairly budget, fairly affordable.
This was extremely cheap. Yeah, this mini cost next to nothing, in line with say your Tullamore Dews or Johnny Walker Reds.
Cool, yeah.
And a full-size bottle, I haven't seen one on the shelves, but I think it's probably in line with that. So, 85 points from me.
Yeah, works
very solid, very tasty.
I'm really resisting the urge to pull this over just a nice ice cube as well. It's a really good summer drinking whiskey if you wanted to go that way with it. And for one that costs a little bit less, that you probably don't have to feel too bad if that's that compelled you as well.
It is a good no age statement single malt. Yeah. It is a good Arran.
Alrighty. Oh, it's going to be back in the saddle. Let's go and do 15 more in a row, see if we're still standing. All right. Cheers, Sludger. We'll be right back.